What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a goddamn huge birthday haul for the month of April of a bunch of movies that I got. These are more handpicked. Some are kind of off the cuff, but most of it is all pretty awesome. So let's check it out. First up, we got White Noise, which is kind of a good movie. It's a scary paranormal movie for some, I guess. I think they made like 3 of these. They did not get better. The first is kind of good, but I don't remember the other ones being that much better. We picked this up at the Goodwill for like $1, and sometimes you'll find some stuff there that we like. We always check the discs first, of course, to make sure that they aren't completely shit. But yeah, White Noise. Do you guys like this movie? Let me know. Up next, we got Wild Wild West, which looks like it had a Bookman's sticker for $14 at one point in time. But we got this for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And this isn't like a movie that I really enjoy or whatever, but this is one of the ones that like destroyed the career of somebody. I don't know what it was. I think it's the same director that did the Johnny Depp sort of Zorro type movie. I can't remember. I think it's the same director. But anyway, I just thought it'd be fun to watch this. Sometimes I just pick these up just on a whim. It's not like I'm going to watch them a lot, but I just get them because they're cheap. Up next, we got The Ring 2, which is basically another Goodwill buy that I got for $1. I'm not a huge fan of this series or the franchise or anything like that. This is the American, sort of remake one, and I remember this one did pretty poorly after the first one, but, I just like to collect it all if I can. I didn't get the Arrow Blu-rays or anything like that because they're a little too pricey for me. But I think that was like the Ringu ones. I would like to get those at some point. That's the plan anyway. But this is one of the other ones that I wanted to get. And I'll eventually get Rings and everything else too. So up next, we got Insect, a.k.a. Blue Monkey, which is kind of a pretty rare thing. And to be honest, I don't even think they sell the cover anymore. You might be able to find it like secondhand or something like that. But this is from Code Red. That's what it is. And they put this out and I was like, I gotta get it because I've had this puppy for a very long time on VHS. Not the greatest movie, but there is some really weird shit in the movie that I actually kind of like. There's a big giant mantis looking bug and people get pregnant with worms that come out of their mouths. And it's, I think it all takes place in a hospital, of course. But it's been a little while since I've watched this, and I had to get it on Blu-ray. So we saw this at the secondhand store. I was able to get a little bit more because we traded in a bunch of stuff for my birthday, and I was able to pick this one up, which we got for really cheap. They don't even sell this anywhere, so they must have missed marking this one. So good luck on me, huh?
What's getting out?
Oh my God.
Up next, we got Hammer Films 20 film set, which one of my viewers and friends who listens to the podcast as well actually bought for us. It's a 20 film set. Half of them are horror, and then the other half are kind of like the outskirts of Hammer. Thank you, Plemke, for picking this up. If you guys aren't sure and you've never watched Hammer horror films, these are the films that took Universal and kind of made it a little bit more gory. This week, we're actually doing a episode on 2 of the Hammer horror films, one being The Curse of the Werewolf, and we also did The Old Dark House, which is on this, which actually is a remake of the 1932 film from Boris Karloff, who was in it, and they made it into a comedy. So we had some thoughts about that. If you want to check out that episode, it was actually a lot of fun, and if you don't care about spoilers, the breakdowns we did were pretty fucking fun, so you should check it out. Thank you, Plemke. I appreciate this, man. We're going to be going through these every 4 weeks. We're going to pick 2 films to watch so we can kind of become better horror fans. Up next, we got Cthulhu Mansion, which we picked this up for $24.99, which I paid more than I should have, but it was just right there and I wanted it. I would highly advise you just getting it from Vinegar Syndrome because you'll at least get the cover for this if they have it available for the same price, and they'll ship it out to you in like some of the best shipping materials you'll ever get. I love Vinegar Syndrome because they have a palette of like crazy movies that not everybody fucking loved, but some people really adore. And this is one I think I've seen, but I haven't seen in a long time. I just picked it up because I just wanted to see it, and we're going to check it out. After a drug deal has gone wrong, a group of punks attempt to flee a local amusement park by taking a mysterious old magician named Candu and his beautiful daughter hostage. While trying to evade the police, the punks force Shandu to take them to a secluded mansion where they plan to seek refuge for the night and wait for the heat to die down. Unbeknownst to them, Shandu's obsession with the black arts and the occult has summoned an evil that not even he can control. Oh boy, this sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I'm looking forward to reviewing this in the future. A lot of these titles I like to dig deep into, and I know I bring up the podcast a lot to you guys, and I know a lot of you who actually watch this channel do listen to our podcast, but I highly recommend it if you're into deep dives into conversations about stuff. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we break down a lot of trivia and a lot of stuff about these movies and give our opinions on them. It's more about finding movies that you may not have heard of before. So definitely check that out if you haven't listened to the podcast. We'll have this on there at some point in time in the future. I got a lot, guys, so we're only a fourth of the way done, so I'll try to speed this up. Up next, we got Unhinged with Russell Crowe, which I bought this used for $15.99. It still hasn't gone down in price, but whatever. I just wanted it for my birthday. I've been wanting to get this for a while, and this had the actual cover for it, so I was like, yep, I'm getting it. This is a movie that kind of flew by in theaters and didn't come out on VOD like all the other movies were. Some people call it a slasher film in a vehicle, which it kind of is. It's really fucking brutal, but you know who the killer is right away, and they go around and just fucking murder people in public. It's pretty fucking glorious and pretty unyielding in a lot of spots. Russell Crowe looks bigger than ever, literally, but he does a great job of being a fucking unhinged motherfucker who just drives over people, and it is pretty insane to watch. I think I gave this movie like an 8.5 when I reviewed it on YouTube, so if you haven't seen this and you may not be into action films or suspense films or thrillers, this is one to check out, trust me. Up next, we got Moonwalkers, plural. So Moonwalkers is a movie with Ron Perlman and Rupert Grint. Yes, Rupert Grint from the fucking Harry Potter series. It is a movie that is about the faked moon landing and how they tried to get Kubrick to do it, but they couldn't, so they hired this no-name guy who will cover it up for them, and they try to proceed to make a fake moon landing. But it is done in such a way that it is so fun and really funny at times. I really enjoyed the pacing of this movie and the kind of like overall tone of it. It's like a comedy, mockumentary, I don't know what to call it. It's not just mockumentary style, but there is a lot of funny moments that happen in it. Definitely check this out if you haven't before. We picked this up for $4.99, I guess. They've had this at the Dollar Tree, by the way, for just DVD. I wanted the Blu-ray. Up next, we got Dario Argento's Opera. I've seen this, but I don't remember anything about it. All I know is that I need to watch this movie because all of my friends always talk about it when it comes to Dario Argento. And I know. I watch a lot of fucking movies, guys, and sometimes you just get in the mood for some, sometimes you don't. But I got it now, and I'm going to watch it with Stage Fright, which is another movie I got in this pile. I got it from MVD Entertainment Group, which is, they've been having sales. Technically, this is Scorpion releasing, but they had a sale on like all of their movies, and I just went in and bought some ones that I've been meaning to get because they were like, it was like $10 off. So I went in and got this and a few others. We'll be doing this in the future on the podcast probably, so check that out. Up next, one that everybody fucking hates, or sort of hates, or maybe kind of likes. I gave this movie like a 7.5, I think, when I saw it in the theater. It is definitely not as good as the original in some aspects, while also being better than the original TV movie in other aspects. Like, they did some different things in this movie, specifically at the end, that I really liked, but I really didn't mind it. You know, it's not my favorite of the two, but it's also kind of good in the same respect. And, if, you know, anything above a 6 is usually pretty good to see, and I'll watch it. And it was on 4K with HDR, so I said, you know what? I'm going to fucking pick it up. I think we got it for, like, really cheap, too. It was on sale, so we picked it up. Up next, I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name, and he's on my friends list. Damiano Cristofaro Collection. This is the Museum of Wonders. This is from the collection, so this is one of his movies. It's like his second feature film that he did. This is like very, very, very overtly artistic. So I haven't finished this yet, but I started to watch it, and it's about this sort of like museum that's kind of like a carnival. They have like a freak show sort of thing, and all these characters live together, and they have their own problems and things like that. And there's sort of like a love triangle thing going on while all of this is happening. And a lot of people were really upset, but he's actually an Italian director who has done some pretty fucking gory shit. So you may well know who he is. He's probably done some stuff on Unearthed. And I've seen him in, there was a new anthology that came out called Contagium. That's what it was. That wasn't amazing, but what Damiano did in that anthology was really great. And I've been meaning to check out more of his stuff, so I picked this up on a blind buy. Have no idea. I've only gotten about maybe a third of the way through this movie, not even half. But it is extremely bizarre, very artistic, and kind of reminds me of like David Lynch early stuff. So it's really kind of weird. Have you guys seen this? Let me know what you think. Up next, Vinegar Syndrome sends me out some stuff every now and then to review, and we did this a couple weeks ago. We did Last Gasp and Rush Week. If you want to know our full thoughts on both of these movies, you can check them out. Now, Rush Week is more of the straightforward kind of slasher, but the one thing it's got that a lot of people don't like about it is that while it's doing all the right moves for a slasher film, it barely has any gore in it. And a lot of people were upset about that. Last Gasp is, of course, with Robert Patrick, who was in Terminator 2, who is this vicious fucking real estate owner who goes and like fucking murders a bunch of natives in this country just so he can put up a hotel. He kills the last one of them, these natives, and they get into his body and infect them, and he becomes a sort of like a killer on the loose. But yeah, if you want to know our full thoughts, check out the episode. I'll put the link down below for anything that's on a podcast episode or video below. So check it out. Oh, and thanks, Vinegar Syndrome. Keep sending them. I'll keep reviewing them. Up next, we got Scream, the Blu-ray collection. Now, this only has 1 through 3 in it. It's one that I never picked up. I'm not the biggest fan of Scream. Yes, they are fun in some degree. One of my buddies did a video recently, Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews. He did a thing about how he feels like some people say like Scream saved the horror industry or something like that. And I had always thought the same thing he did. I thought we got a whole bunch of bad horror films that were just so, I don't know, teeny bopper kind of feeling. I have mad respect for all of this. I just think it brought on a whole franchise of all these franchises of really terrible movies that weren't that great. Although, you know, I'm not the biggest 90s fan, I still admire where these were. I saw Scream opening day in theater. I remember I was in Texas at the time visiting my brother, and we went to go to the theater to go see it. So I enjoyed it. And then part 2 came out. I was okay with it. The third one, I think I liked a little bit more. And the fourth one, I was somewhere in the middle between 2 and 3. So, but we picked this up for like $11. I wasn't going to pass it up because we're going to be doing a review of the new Scream movie at some point in time. Although I don't know if I'm supposed to say that because Paramount likes to take down people's videos for showing the trailer in their reviews. So we'll probably have some child artist creation, depictions of the actual trailer for you guys. That should make that review pretty fun.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Thanks, Paramount. Up next, we got Cape Fear, which I just watched the other night. It's got Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange, and Juliette Lewis as the daughter. And man, this is a fucking fucked up movie, man. Like, this is some dark shit. This is the kind of stuff that it's like you think about, you're like, man, how would I get myself out of this situation? Essentially, Robert De Niro plays, and this is kind of a remake that superseded the original, which is I think was more about two guys that were in jail together, and then one gets out early and then the other guy goes to find him. Cat and mouse game. This one's more about Robert De Niro's character, who was represented by a lawyer, Nick Nolte, and Nick Nolte kind of just didn't care because he felt like the guy was a rapist, which he was, a murdering rapist, and so he let him fucking do the 15 years or whatever of his life to go do that. While he was in there, he decided to learn a little bit about laws and lawyering, wanted to become a better person so that he could take down Nick Nolte and his family. And some of the shit that ensues in this fucking movie is pretty fucked up, makes you really uncomfortable. And seeing Robert De Niro and Jessica Lange in such a young, Robert De Niro wasn't young when he made this movie, but he looks young compared to what he does now. And Jessica Lange from all the American Horror Stories, Jesus Christ, I just didn't even realize she was in this movie. So rewatching this was a trip. Are you guys fans? I thought this was a good buy. We got it for $1 at the fucking Goodwill. So up next, we got Dimensions Occultists, a.k.a. Don't Panic, which I've never seen, but it involves a Ouija board. A lot of really weird shit on the screen that I love to see in a trailer. It will be up for debate on whether or not this will be great. We'll probably pair this with Cthulhu Mansion, 2 Vinegar Syndrome releases that we got. I actually ordered it with another movie that I pre-ordered. So, which, by the way, if you ever order from Vinegar Syndrome, you probably already know that you shouldn't pre-order with the same order because they'll just ship it out together when the pre-order comes. So it's always best to just order them individually if you want them early. If not, you can wait, just put it in with your pre-order and it'll do it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out. This is an 80s, kind of looks like it's so bad, so good. So we'll see. Up next, we got the Poughkeepsie Tapes, which is another gift by Plemke. Thank you, buddy. He went on a wild spree for my birthday to give me a bunch of damn movies, which I highly appreciate, by the way, man. So thank you. Poughkeepsie Tapes is a found footage film that is quite disturbing. A lot of people thought was real. A lot of people did not like because it does the content matter in here. It is very rapey. I haven't seen it in a while. I have seen it, but I don't remember it negatively. So we're going to watch this again at some point in time on the podcast. So if you want to check that out in the future, we'll be doing it with probably another found footage film. What do you think of this movie? Do you like it? Up next, we got Mahakal, which we did an episode on this many, many years ago. Man, this movie is a fucking riot, man. I like this movie. There is a lot of things to say about this movie. It is a Freddy Krueger ripoff, obviously. It has some bizarre recreations of scenes that were in the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and they really up it with some weird shit with like snakes and stuff like that. But this dude goes around with a fucking Freddy glove. It's weird because this doesn't even have like a barcode on it, guys. Like, and I think that's because, this is still no by the Nightmare on Elm Street guys. But it is amazing. If you haven't picked this up, it's from Massacre Video, and I highly recommend them. They're very cool about their releases, and not only do they do a good job of sending them, packaging them, and all the extras that they put in there, but it's actually, this is one of those films that I highly recommend if you like So Bad It's Good films. Like, this is one that without a doubt I'll watch again and again and again. One of the top ones, I'd say. So this will blow your fucking mind. Up next, we got Inferno, which is another Dario Argento movie, aka Suspiria 2. It's about 3 mothers, right? This one, I think in order of 1, 2, and 3. So Suspiria, Inferno, and then Mother of Tears, which was a 90s release. That's the order in which I like these movies. I really like this movie. This has actually got some of the atmosphere that you got from Suspiria, some of the great set designs and color, while also putting in some insanely weird fucking scenes that you would see in this movie, including one where a bunch of rats like eat a dude in a sewer and or eat someone. I don't remember, but I actually really like this movie. It's not as good as Suspiria, but it's still well worth a watch if you haven't seen it. And I would highly recommend checking it out. This comes from Blue Underground, but I picked it up from MVD for their sale. So you want to check them out every now and then. They have a specific link, but you can find them on like Facebook. Just look up MVD Group on Facebook and you should be able to find them. MVD Entertainment. One of the two, but you should be able to find them. They have sales all the time, and they send me out stuff all the time to review, so you should check them out. Up next, we got Stage Fright. There it is. This is the third movie I got from the MVD sale, which with Opera and, of course, Inferno. So I went on a kind of an Italian spree on that one. But this is a movie that I have seen the remake of, but I've never seen this one of. I've seen many clips of this movie, and it's by director Mahakal, who is the guy who did Cemetery Man, and he was also an actor in a lot of Fulci films and Dario Argento films. He did The Church, which is considered to be Demons 3 by some people, but it's more psychological. I like that movie a lot. This one I always hear from people who are big fans of like Giallos, and I would really like to check this one out because it seems pretty dark. So I think this will be a good pairing with Opera and this to watch back to back. Be on the lookout for that in the future. We already did Inferno, by the way, because we did the Suspiria trilogy, the Mother of Tears trilogy years ago on our podcast. So if you want a link to that, I'll send it to you. But are you a fan of this movie? Am I stupid for never checking this one out? It happens, man. I've seen thousands. Up next, we got 68 Kill. Now, this is a movie that Christina picked up at the Dollar Tree. She just randomly picked this one up, and there's this song in here in this movie that I listened to that is like this rap group from like Russia or something like that, or some group here in America. I don't know. But you could barely understand what they're saying, but it's really fucking disgusting shit. Anyway, I watched this movie on a whim, and it is about this guy who's madly in love with this girl who is way out of his league, and she also happens to be a murderous psychopath. But there's a lot of crazy things that happen along the way. The movie itself is actually not that bad, especially for $1. And then there's that song when they go to this trailer in the movie where these bunch of drug heads are, and get into this fight with them. There's this song playing that I was just like, what is that? Really offensive name of the song and band, but it's in here and I had to go searching for it. I actually kind of like this movie though. So have you seen it? Up next, we got Exeter, which I always get confused with another movie with a similar name, but it says An Excellent Day for an Exorcism. It says from the director of Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Marcus Nispel. It might be good. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't know what to expect from it. It's got some pretty cool imagery in here, but you know, that doesn't mean shit when the acting's terrible, right? I'll give it a whirl here in the future. We got it for $1. What do you guys think of this movie? All right, we got Baron Munchausen here, which is The Adventures of, by the way, not Munchausen, the original from like the 30s or something like that. Sequel to the movie Munchausen, which I just realized this. When I was a kid, I had no idea who the fuck Baron Munchausen was. About this guy who went on these crazy adventures to the moon and all these like mythical places. This is the sequel of the original. It has a lot of really great people in it, like Uma Thurman's in it, Eric Idle, John Neville. We got Oliver Reed in here playing the devil. This is, of course, directed by Terry Gilliam, who has done many other films that you've probably seen, including the Monty Python movies and the like 2D animated stuff that they used to put in their shows. But yeah, I liked this movie growing up as a kid. It's not exactly laugh out loud funny. It's just something kids would really kind of enjoy, but with a little bit of a twist of a adult to it. So it's not exactly for kids, but I watched it because it was just outside the realm of kids, and I loved it. We actually just rewatched this recently, and Christina had never seen it, and she enjoyed it, but she didn't really like have the nostalgia I did. So, are you guys fans? Up next, we got Star Crystal, which is a Kino Lorber release. They've actually had some sales recently. I couldn't get this on there because they only have the DVD of this left, and they have sales pretty frequently, so you should check them out. But Star Crystal is one of those fucking sci-fi action films that I saw, or sci-fi films, horror films that I saw when I was a kid. I remember seeing the movie on the shelf. I don't know that I ever watched it, but it is schlocky sci-fi gore kind of stuff with creatures and stuff like that, and I absolutely fucking love shit like that. So I actually tracked this down. I think I found it on eBay and bought it for like $16 or something like that, because they no longer sell the Blu-ray and I wanted to have it.
Star Crystal.
Up next, we got Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead. Now, believe it or not, if we did an episode on the podcast of this, I wouldn't be able to fucking use the name, because the algorithms would basically tell Apple that we used a cuss word, and you can't just use the little things. Long story. Anyway, this is a movie that Plemke also bought me. Thank you, Plemke, again. He did, this is a comedy sort of Japanese horror film about zombies and a girl who has magical farts. Breathe that in, by the way, mentally. Magical farts. But I don't remember a lot of it, but it's from the director of The Machine Girl and Robo Geisha, which are also movies on my list that I want to pick up at some point in time. I've seen those. I've seen this. It's just been a while since we did this. So I'm glad I got the DVD of it. I don't even think there's a Blu-ray. So I'm looking forward to watching this again. Maybe I'll do this one on YouTube instead, so that we can beat the algorithm. Up next, we got Glass. This is a movie that I have waited to see until recently, literally. I enjoyed Split. I think I gave it like an 8, because I just thought it was so crazy how James McAvoy was like able to do so many different characters in like at the drop of a hat. And it's still pretty impressive in here. We really enjoyed this movie, but you know, I don't feel like it's not like anything that like blew my mind. It was still cool, an interesting way to kind of sort of tell a comic book story. This is the third sequel in the series of Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass, which tells the story of all three of the characters that are in this one, which I feel like Glass, you know, steals the spotlight in this one a little way, but it's a well done, solid film that I'll probably put on when I get a hankering to watch all of the Unbreakable, Split, and this. So up next, we got Hellboy, which I saw this in the theater, and I remember everybody like specifically saying that it destroyed cinema. It ruined the world of cinema. I saw a different movie. I thought it was like a 6.5. It has some issues with it that I think I can kind of explain now after watching this again, after, you know, some time has passed. And one of the things I notice about this movie is that it doesn't take time to smell the roses. And so the dialogue is just pumping at 1,000,000 miles a minute with so much information and jokes and things in there that if you blinked, you would miss them. And I think the pacing is really off in this. While I like Neil Marshall because I like Dog Soldiers, which is one of my favorite movies of his, and others, of course, but I'm just saying that's one of my favorite. Hellboy just didn't take time. It was either edited too fast or just had too fast a flow to it. Like there was some cool things that were in here, like some visuals and stuff that I actually really liked. Some of the jokes were funny when I caught them, but it kind of feels like anxiety ridden a little bit, and it kind of takes away from the enjoyment factor, and it kind of just throws it at you. I am a fan of the original Hellboy franchise, the Guillermo del Toro ones. I have no problem with them. I really did want to see a third sequel. I went into this with an open mind because, you know, I liked the story of Hellboy. I didn't even read the comics. It just appeals to me. I don't know. What did you think about this movie? Did everybody give it too much shit for no reason? Have you rewatched it since? Maybe it's worth a rewatch. I still picked it up for like $5. I think, oh no, we got it at 7 at Walmart. That's what it was. So figured we'd try it again. Up next, we got The Meg, which is the PG-13 movie that everybody wished that was rated R with Jason Statham. And I think we're getting a sequel here soon. Got this at Walmart for the $7 bin. I really think these movies should be like $5, but they mark it up a couple bucks just to try to like, I don't know what they're thinking. Just put it in the $5 bin, Walmart, please. I haven't seen it in a while. We enjoyed it. We thought it was funny. God damn, that shark was big. So I will watch the sequel to this as well. I didn't think it was perfect, but we did enjoy it. It was a fun, silly action popcorn flick. Up next, I bought a vampire motorcycle. That's right. This movie is insane. We just did an episode on this like a week ago. If you want to check it out with my boyfriend's back. There's another cover to it. Kino Lorber does 2 different covers with theirs, by the way. They don't do the paper boxes, but we watched both of these. I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle is kind of like the Peter Jackson style of the UK. It's about a guy who bought a vampire motorcycle, and it is, of course, cursed by the devil and somehow makes it a vampire. And there is a bunch of really silly shit that happens in this movie. It is extremely bloody and gory. So if you're into that with comedy and you like stuff like Peter Jackson's Dead Alive, it's not as funny as Peter Jackson, but it's up there. Definitely within the range of acceptable for fans of Peter Jackson. We have a lot of thoughts about it. Boyfriend's Back is also kind of like a 90s comedy. It was 93, I believe, that about a guy who comes back to go on a prom date with his girl that he likes, and he gets killed in the process before it happens, and he comes back, and it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek way to look at the color of someone's skin and how to be accepted into school, I guess, and that everybody, it doesn't matter what color their skin is, whether they're zombie skin or human skin. But there's some funny stuff in this movie that we enjoyed, and we talk about both of these movies in our episode last week. So check the link down below.
The bike was a killer.
Oh, and by the way, those 2 movies we picked up from Kino Lorber on their sale as well. So up next, we got next week's movie, Monster Dog. We're going to be watching this with another Vinegar Syndrome release. Crazy film that I have not seen that has Alice Cooper, I'm assuming, transforming into a monster dog as it looks like on the cover. I don't know. So we're pairing this one with The Cellar from Vinegar Syndrome and hoping that it's going to be a good episode. So I hope you guys tune in next week, next Monday, for an all new episode of Beyond the Void. Oh, and have you seen this movie? I'm curious what people think about it. Up next, a movie that Christina and I have had multiple conversations with over the course of our entire relationship. It is M. Night Shyamalan's Lady in the Water. Now, this is the lenticular cover, so she's like blinking at you. Blink, 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 blink. Anyway, she says this movie's terrible, and a lot of people said it was terrible, but I think it was because they were expecting something different. There's some things to complain about in this movie, of course. Like maybe the strong man who has the one jerk-off arm, like he's been jerking off too much. Anyway, this is kind of like a Fable movie that I always think about, but we've been arguing about this just kind of playfully over the years. And I said, we really need to watch that movie. And it's been years since we've been saying this. And just the other day we were talking about it, and she went into the Goodwill and found a copy at the Goodwill, widescreen edition. Perfect copy. Looks like it's never even fucking been played. And lenticular. And we figured, why the fuck not? Let's fucking settle this debate. And maybe both of us were wrong. Maybe both of us were right. I guess we'll find out. I'll let you guys know. What did you think? And last but not least, we do have Ninja and Ninja 2. This is one that I saw at Walmart for $7, but we ended up getting at the Dollar Tree for a fucking $1. So what up, Walmart? Suck it! Anyway, so Ninja is actually a pretty cool little action film. It kind of has some of that vibe that you would get from the 80s, but they were able to do like cooler ninja stuff, him warping into shadows and stuff like that. And I thought it was actually pretty cool. I haven't seen it in a long time. I have a copy of it. I'll be giving away too if you guys want it, since I got both of these, unless it has extra features on it that this one doesn't. I might hold on to it, but we'll see. I'll let you know. Ninja 2, I don't remember. It's called Shadow of the Tear. And yeah, I don't know. There used to be a whole fucking shitload of these type of movies in the 80s and 90s with ninjas because they were huge. They were fucking gigantic. Everybody loved ninjas. If you were a G.I. Joe fan, you loved ninjas, motherfucker. And so ninjas were a big thing, and I kind of like has a little nostalgia for me, even though this is a movie that was done in like 2009. But yeah, I think it's worth watching. Check it out. I don't know about part 2, but if you find this at the Dollar Tree, it's not a bad buy. And that's it, guys. Everything that we got for the month of April. I am not looking forward to editing this video, but I will do my best, and I hope that you guys stick around to the end. I may put a couple commercials in here just because, like, you're going to want to get a drink probably in the middle of this. So, at the halfway mark, I don't know. But I love sharing this shit with you guys, and if you do too, and you enjoy these videos, because they don't get the most views, but I just like doing it, you know, because it's like, for me, I'm always on the lookout for movies that I haven't heard of before. And, you know, sometimes I'll just throw this on in the background while I'm surfing the internet and like listen to somebody just like talk about different movies and stuff. And I just dig that shit, man. So if you enjoy it too, sound off in the comment section down below. Let me know what you would have picked up for your birthday month. And did I do a good job? I mean, some of it, you know, was last minute. Some of it was for my birthday specifically. But I'm pretty proud of that little haul right there. So what did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and let me know. But until next time, guys, long live the void.